Welcome everybody to the Watchlist, your weekly virtual TV guide as we review all things released on streaming this week. Of course, it's not gonna be a busy week, but that's okay. Still some good stuff to talk about. We are on the eve, or not on the eve of the first official Sunday of football, which means fantasy, which means I get to kick my brother's ass as usual. And that being said, let me introduce said loser. He is, of course, our TV guru, live from Houston. Big bro himself, the ambassador of love, el Señor Jaime, aka Chewy. How you doing, big bro?
Yeah, the only thing you're gonna be beating are pots and pans in the kitchen, dude.
And celebration.
But yes, it is the first opening weekend of the fantasy season, so exciting times.
It is. So that's really cool. So we jump in there in about a couple hours, which is a Sunday morning or so.
Hmm.
Get the grill ready, etc., etc. Your red zone and channel, whatever you used to watch your games. Good luck to everybody out there. But that being said, let's focus on the stuff that you probably have not seen yet or should see after you watch today's games. And Joey, we got a couple movies that came out. Documentary that I saw. And season finale of a show that we both love. We'll get to all that in a minute. But I want to circle back on a couple of things. First, real quick, this is a show we talked about last week, which we both were surprised by. The fourth episode dropped. This week. This is on Hulu. It's Only Murders in the Building,
Mm.
with the great comedic giants Martin Short, of course Steve Martin, and also Selena Gomez, Latina presence, yay. So we both liked that.
And
Oh, go
and
ahead.
a couple of good cameos this week.
Yeah, we had legend Sting, of course, of the police, despite
Roxanne.
surprise Selena Gomez's lack of awareness. That's okay. Um, but I just want to, just real quick, because this show, again, I know you normally don't circle back on these shows this early, but this is one, again, if you missed last week's show, this is one that is looking a good, entertaining watch. Really, it just for me, it's must watch at this point. In this show, it's funny, good mystery behind it, really good chemistry. Then it's really good writing. Obviously, between and the interactions and the chemistry between, of course, Short and Martin. This should be there, but Selena Gomez holding her own. Chewy, you saw the fourth episode. I mean, I assume you're still on board with the show.
Yeah, I think we talked offline that during our show last week we completely forgot the Sting cameo,
Yeah,
which was pretty funny. Obviously, he lives in a building. It wasn't just Steve Martin trying to take a selfie with Sting, and I thought that was a funny bit. And I thought, okay, that's the end of it. No, they brought him at the end with little and actually Martin Short and his dog, and so I was like, oh, okay, cool, that's it. And then we get this episode, which is basically the whole episode revolves around Sting being one of the early prime suspects, and it was funny, it was unique, surprising to see it. I mean, obviously Sting is Sting, man. He's legendary, right? Musician,
of course.
actor, he's writer. I mean, the whole nine yards across multiple decades. So if you don't know who Sting is or was, shame on
Shame
you,
on you
Selena.
for sure.
Shame on you.
Um, such a good.
but also this week we got a drop that the podcaster that they all followed of the Not Okay and Not It's Okay in Oklahoma is actually the one and only Tina
Yeah,
Fey.
Tina Fey. Yeah, I
So
love Tina Fey. Yeah, so
she
she's yeah, absolutely, she's great.
she dropped from 30 Rock and from movies and everything. And again,
SNL.
I'm not sure if she's up the Steve Martin legendary career status, but she can hold her
No,
own.
no, obviously not. But yeah, she's definitely great in her own right. So yeah, but it's a really good
Mm-hmm.
show. So I just want to make mention of it again. I show you definitely. I think you should go watch it if you have Hulu and all that. So it's very cool. Cool.
Mm-hmm.
Another one here, real quick. This is one that I just totally forgot about to ask you about this a few weeks ago. We talked about a show on Netflix. We're not gonna not deep and dive on this show, but just real quick, a show called Clickbait, which I jumped off ship like in the fourth, fifth episode. You were gonna finish it up, and I forgot to ask you a take if you did finish it, and if you did, how did that go?
Can we spoil?
No, I mean I don't know.
Spoiler alert!
Sure,
Spoiler
fine,
alert! Turn off for the
spoiler.
next 30 seconds.
Yeah,
I don't think the ending of Who Done It was as bad as you made it sound. I mean, uh, it was okay. It was okay. I mean, it wasn't terrible,
mm,
right? Luckily, it's a limited series because the mystery is solved and it's done. Um, Yeah, I mean, I don't have issues of how it ended, to be honest with you.
Fair
And
enough.
for those who've seen it, I mean, yeah, I guess it was the secretary, who was basically catfishing. That was
Right.
her vice, I guess, catfish other people, and she assumed the guy's identity, and this became a big mess. Then the husband killed the guy because he showed up there. So like, it was okay. It was okay. No big deal. I've seen
Not
worse.
a Regan endorsement, but that's fine. Just kind of curious.
No, no,
Yeah, I just wanted
I
to see what
mean,
you thought
yeah.
about it. Because I didn't recommend it personally, but whatever. It's to each their own. It's all good. It just wasn't my thing, but I was just curious to see what you thought. But either way, let's get into the new stuff here. I know this one you probably didn't see. I did because I'm a horror fan, and that is released on theaters same day as HBO Max, so it is on HBO Max, and that is James Wan's *Malignant*. James Wan, I'm a big fan of. He's part of the best horror director. One of them anyway. He began the Saw franchise. Began the Conjuring franchise, Insidious. So recently he's gone outside of horror, whether it be Fast and Furious and Aquaman. Which I really liked and was incredibly
Mm-hmm.
successful. So going back to his roots here in horror. So you didn't see his Chewy, right? Or did you? I didn't push
No,
you. Right,
no,
right.
hard
Okay. No,
pass.
I got you. So God damn. Talk about multiple personality disorder with this film, and Tale of Eight Cities. This movie is, I don't know how to describe it. It's so weird and off. I'm not saying just not because it's the way it comes across in terms of how it's made. It's just it starts off like a horror film, right? Kind of paint by numbers to a certain degree, right? Which James Wan is he does really good at, and despite what I thought about the movie, the way he directs the scenes are great. His shots he takes, all that wonderful visuals, all that is great. But it starts off like a typical horror film. You have this woman here who, I guess, is pregnant at the time, and she, I guess, sees or visions this entity which is killing people. Apparently, there's a tie-in between her and this entity or whatever that it is. They have a ghost or whatever it is, right? Either way, then halfway through it becomes this murder mystery. Cops are involved. They're trying to figure out. It's almost like a procedural kind of thing. So it's kind of weird. And then by the third act, it becomes a full-fledged action film. And it was like, wow, where's he going with this? And I heard him talking before. He wanted to do something different, and I can appreciate that. But dude, pick a lane. It's off. And the third act is awesome. I'll say that when it becomes an action film, dude, it's balls to the wall. Graphic as hell. The way it's shot, stylized, it's fantastic. This entity character, I don't want to spoil anything, but what it actually becomes, it's what he actually is weird and it's kind of dopey. But when he goes full fledged, dude, it's all. I wish the whole movie would have been something just about that. But yeah, other than that, dude, it's bizarre. It's bizarre. The acting is terrible. The writing is not good. Dialogue is bad. It's just, dude, I don't know what he was thinking. Take that. I mean, if you want to go and start like with about an hour 30, put the movie on. Just watch the last 20 minutes. That 20 minutes are awesome. They really are. It saved the film. It's really cool. I gotta give him credit for that. And I wish the movie would have been about that. Because that would have been a really cool action film, to be honest with you. But it's weird. It's bizarre. Yeah. I'm not recommending at the end of the day. Yeah, that's not happening. So true, you were gonna watch it. Those if you haven't seen it at home, I mean, it's free. I get it. Fine, I guess if you're so inclined, but just buy everywhere with that one. Just to be perfectly honest with you guys. Another film, and this is we got a Netflix film, Chewy. So we're rolling that die because you never know what you're gonna get from Netflix. Most of the times it's mediocre. Sometimes it's bad. On occasion, we get a legitimately good film. We got one last week, Worth, with Michael Keaton last week. I thought it was
Hmm.
a good film. So this one, Netflix dives into these action films a lot. We got Milkshake Gunpowder about a month ago, I don't know, more or less. So
Hmm.
this movie called Kate, with Mary Elizabeth Winstead as the lead role. We got Woody Harrelson, who I always love. So she's an assassin working out in Japan at some job. Things occur. She ends up getting poisoned, and she's got about a day to live, and she's trying to resolve, get all the affairs in order because she wants to find out who and why she was poisoned. So basically, the basic premise. So, Chu, I'll leave with you here. What do you think about this?
I was bored, to be honest with you. I don't think there was anything original in this. I think we've seen this hundreds of times before. A revenge story, basically at its core. You throw in the element that she's got one day to die, but she's kicking ass, killing everybody inside, trying to find a leader, blah blah blah. Get to the end, it's he's not responsible. It's actually her handler. It's just I was bored. I mean, I couldn't wait for the movie to finish. To be honest with you.
Yeah, I'm totally agree with you there. This is just like, man, I'll say this, right? Because just to be fair, right? The action is good, right? And there's
Yeah,
some good, really good scenes, particularly early on. Bloody, it's violent. Love that. I love that, right? They didn't shy away from that. Very cool. For about the first half of the film, the second half, it kind of slows down a little bit. Um, but yeah, man, you're right. I was bored. I just didn't give a fuck. You know what I'm saying? I
yeah.
just,
I didn't care about her. I didn't
yeah,
care
dude.
about the
And
little girl that she's first trying to kill and then protect. Woody Harrelson, I could even care even less because there was no, it was all bone and no
right,
meat.
exactly. And listen, no to writers out there and filmmaker. Just if you could write, your protagonist has to be likable, and you have to give a shit, right? You have to,
Hmm.
and you don't set that up here. This is, something like John Wick. Where I always talk about John Wick. As an action film was great, but they forget they made you give a shit about what he was doing, right? When they, his wife and the
Yeah, I mean,
dog,
they start out with his wife just died
right?
of
Kept it
cancer,
simple.
and the day that she died, she gave him a dog because she knew she was dying, and so first the dog was cute as hell, right? I mean, who doesn't like
Of
puppies?
course.
But you knew exactly where he was coming from, and then you start learning of what his past was,
Exactly. You set that up. Yeah.
and the past comes back to haunt them, and all of a sudden, okay, that's it. Now again, another revenge, but you cared about
Right.
John Wick. They
Exactly.
killed this. You killed his dog,
Yeah,
man.
whose wife,
That's
yeah,
a
his
no
wife's
no.
last gift. So it just, and it's very
Yeah,
simple, but it's all you need to kind of get you to get vested,
yeah.
and then you give us all the action you want. And that's great. I don't understand why these movies don't do that. It's just, this movie, she just from the beginning, she's an assassin. Fine, we get it, but they don't even give us like a hooker with a heart of gold kind of deal, right? She's just an assassin, and okay, and then she gets poisoned, and she's off to the races. But okay, well, who cares? It just didn't work. I just didn't give a shit. Yeah, this is not good. It's not a good film. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
at all. So, and it's funny because
Pass.
my oh my god, I'll call him out on my other show, Nerdsplaining. Eric De Silva, comic, he's on the show with me. Uber nerd. But either way, he texted me about Kate, and I hadn't seen it yet. He's like, dude, you gotta see Kate. And yeah, I'm watching it tomorrow. He's like, man, this movie is what Shang-Chi should have been. I was like, okay.
Oh,
I
stop.
I
Oh
as
my God. Stop the
I know.
conversation
I
right now.
just
Hang
well,
up.
and in
Delete
terms of
from your
well, hold on,
contact
let me
list.
rephrase. I don't want to throw that under the bus, but he
Okay.
said
All
in
right.
terms of the
All
feel,
right.
look, whatever. But he gave the movie a 9.5, and I'm like, oh, and he kind of got me excited about this.
Whoa.
And I'm watching, I'm like, oh
Whoa.
my god, dude. Eric,
Hold on.
if Eric
I'm
watches or
gonna
anybody,
unsubscribe from Nerdsplaining
yeah,
channel
I
right
mean,
now.
Eric, Eric was the first half of Malignant, just all over the road with that statement. This is not good. But no, it's not a good film.
He just pulled a Kevin Smith, dude.
They're not even Karen Smith. Well, maybe he would say that, but
No, he likes everything. Stop
you're
it,
right. You're
dude.
right. You're right. You're right. You're right. So yeah, other than him, it's not a good film. It's not. Don't watch it. It's not worth your time. Gunpowder Milkshake was better, and that wasn't that good, to be honest with you personally.
No, yeah,
Yeah.
I cared more about Gunpowder Milkshake than I
Right.
did about
Exactly. And
this.
that's the big. If you don't care about the character,
I
it's
thought the
okay.
action was better, and even though it was exaggerated, I thought the action was better in Gunpowder Milkshake than it was here. To be honest with you.
It was better paced, and there was more of it. I thought like the
Yeah.
beginning of the
Hmm.
action, this movie was it was cool. Was the cool scene when she goes into that restaurant, whatever the restaurant with the sliding doors.
Yeah, the
That was a great
restaurant,
scene.
and she's surrounded and
Yeah, that
everything.
was cool. I was like,
But
yeah, well shot. But
yeah,
then after that, a couple of scenes here and there, but then it just stags. In the end, the gunfight in the end just wasn't that interesting. It wasn't that good. Ultimate at the end of the day. So hard pass on that. But stay with Netflix, Chewy. I don't know if you saw this one. I didn't queue you up on this one. We didn't have it on the list of shows to watch this month. But it's a documentary. Now, unlike Netflix movies, we roll the die here. Netflix documentaries usually almost always hit. Right, most of the times they're good. Not all great, some are great, some are good. You rarely get a bad documentary on Netflix. It happens every so often. But I saw one, Chewy. I doubt you saw it, but it's called Blood Brothers. I don't know if you saw that one now.
no, no,
Okay.
no, I did not. That was the Muhammad Ali and the Malcolm X story,
Yeah,
correct?
correct. Yes, it's obviously chronicling how they were introduced and the bond and friendship that they built, and then the events that led up to, I guess, their estrangement, if you will. Once Muhammad Ali went under Elijah Muhammad and his faction, as Malcolm X kind of split off into his own thing, which led to his assassination apparently. And yeah, this is good. This is actually, I like this a lot. A lot. This was really well done. It's about an hour and 20 minutes. You hear Muhammad Ali's brother talk about this. Malcolm X's daughter is also in here talking about it. And again, I'm a big fan of Muhammad Ali. People should know who he is. People know who Malcolm X. And these two guys were two of the most polarizing and most influential figures of their time, right? Particularly in Black history, around the civil rights movements in the 50s and 60s. So to kind of hear details of how they started up, and Muhammad Ali, Cassius Clay becoming Muhammad Ali, and the reasons behind it. They do touch on that story too. We saw the movie One Night in Miami, directed by Regina King earlier this year, which we both liked. Good film. They do touch upon that as well, as for what happened with that. So that was interesting, because it kind of harked back to that film. And obviously, there's no real details as far as the conversations in the hotel room, because it was him, obviously X and Ali, Jim Brown, and
Jim Brown,
Sam Cooke,
and the singer,
Sam Cooke. So, correct. But yeah, just touch on that, and so it's interesting. I liked it. It was a good documentary. If you're a fan of that kind of that historical time, obviously, Black history and things, Muhammad Ali. I recommend it. It's a good watch. It's definitely a good watch. Well done by Netflix again on that one. Another one we have here, a show actually, and we don't talk about FX that much. But they dropped the show Impeachment, an American crime story, of course, kind of in the vein of the OJ one they had a couple of years back.
OJ versus
and this one here, obviously,
and also the murder of Gianni Versace.
Yes, that's right. That's right. So here's another one here, obviously, chronicling the times of Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. The foolishness, the shenanigans in the Oval Office, if you will.
The infamous cigar.
Yeah. So, Chewy, talk about this and what were your thoughts on the episode?
Well, it's obviously one episode, so weekly drop on FX, and I am in. I mean, I've liked this series from FX. They usually do good, a kind of biopic crime story dramas. And so, like it's only one episode, but I mean, it's a very interesting manner that they start shooting it. You start from relatively the present to you hark back about during this first administration and some of the events that kind of in a nebulous, kind of tied in, kind of explain everything in an interesting and dramatic way. It's got some good acting. We got Clive Owen as Bill Clinton, interesting choice. Yeah. We have Sarah Paulson, who's unrecognizable as Jennifer Tripp. Newcomer who's playing Monica Lewinsky. We have Kevin Pollak there, who's one of the council, what represents one of the White House council members. So there's some chops within the show, but it was very interesting. Obviously, how everything initially developed, and we got left off at the very end with the conversation between Monica and Bill, and that's the end of the episode. But yeah, right. I like it. I think it's gonna be a good show to watch.
Yeah, I enjoyed it as well. It was well made. It was well done, and I'm not surprised. Again, it's if you enjoy like some of the other ones we talked about with the OJ, this is in line with that. I think personally. I mean, we'll see how it goes from here. I don't know. Not sure how long this is. Chewy, maybe that's.
It's probably 8 to 10 episodes.
I'm thinking, right? It doesn't mean to me more than that. Yeah. I mean, this is not an intricate story or something like the OJ thing, or it maybe not even doesn't sound as compelling. It isn't, right? That's obviously fine. It's cheating in the Oval Office doesn't sound as interesting as the OJ murder, obviously. So, but that being said, it was a good watch. It was well done. As well. I guess only one episode. It's a weekly thing. Obviously, it's on FX. It's not on the streaming network per se. It's not on FX Hulu. I think FX Hulu is the one that shows both. Chewy, correct me if I'm wrong.
That's
right.
Correct.
And there's a show coming out next week, which I'm sure we'll definitely be talking about coming out on FX Hulu. But that being said, good. I enjoyed it. Like I said, it's early. It's hard to tell. It's so far so good for one episode. It's hard to get into a show when you only see one episode of it. But yeah, I'm recommending it for now. Absolutely. If it starts going down the hill, I'm sure we'll bring it back and say, yeah, let's impeach the show. Bad pun intended. But it is what it is. It's only one show, but a beginning show. But let's talk about a last one here on a season finale on a show that we love. This show, and that's of course Rick and Morty. With season 5 finally, they're matching the shirt. Actually, the shirt matches the graphic I have currently. And so it's
exactly
the season.
Let me show you the whole shirt. So it's actually the
okay. Well, it's similar. This is not quite the
Rick
same.
DeLorean.
Gotcha. So. Okay. Well, that's how the green thing in the back. They know the portal. Yeah. But that being said, out of the way. Yes, it finally season 5 ended. It was like a 2-part finale, if you know it.
Oh, 2-part. Yeah, the 2 episodes were clearly meant to go together. I think that's why they made the decision to delay it and give us a 2-part.
Right, finale. And I actually saw them back to back. I waited till both came out for that reason. So
Uh,
yeah, so let me.
well, they both came out the same day,
Did
so
they?
you know
Oh,
we was not out of a
oh, okay. I
choice.
guess I just went on there, on Sunday. I was like, maybe we watch it.
What a noob.
Either way, but I did watch it together. But
Okay.
either way, two-part finale. We'll focus on the second part. But yeah, this was damn. I gotta say, this was an interesting, and I say this in a good way. Episode, right? It's something. There's something wildly different than we used to, because this shows. I mean, there's some callbacks to other things they do in the past, right? Very, very much. But usually it's very episodic, right? It's not a serialized show. It doesn't pretend to be. It's not that. There's no real connective tissue for the most part between seasons or episodes. But here we go.
Well, between episodes, yes, but I would disagree. It's between seasons there is because they've been building up where we see these episodes and then they show up again in later seasons, and there is a connective tissue and an order of progression
And
here,
to some degree, but
right?
it's not a thematic. There's no thematic behind it.
I mean,
And there's
this isn't like this isn't every week
right, yeah, and
Grey's Anatomy, whatever. Every week,
yeah, it's not a story that
certain,
comes
no, this
across
is
the
not
season,
this.
right? It just you make
Yeah.
good, like I said, you get callbacks, but not the same quite thing here. But
Mm-hmm.
obviously, the major callback in this one, we had the Citadel coming back. We got evil Morty, which we I think last saw in season 3, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, the Rick Lentis mix up, which was a great
Yeah, great
episode,
episode,
which is
right?
basically all centered around. It wasn't about Rick and Morty. It was all about the Citadel.
Right, exactly. And here we get a lot of that, right? And for the first time, we take the curtain off, right, if you will, and the revealing the man behind the curtain, and
They they took out they tore down the curtain.
yeah, they took down the whole building. It's crazy, and because
Yeah.
we get backstory to Rick himself, right? Now we know, okay, why, which is cool as shit. Who he was, and he had his family, and he was wiped out by another version of him, and he spent his whole life trying to find him and get revenge, and et cetera, leading to the creation.
I mean, every red herring that they gave us. I mean, if we recall back to the Rick Shank redemption, which was another season 2
Yeah, I think that was the
episode,
first time we had
which
the Citadel.
yeah, so where we have the dream sequence, we have the intergalactic empire, and there's a sequence where they're trying to discover where he first made the formula for the interdimensional
Mm-hmm.
portal, right? And he made a statement that this was a fake memory. Well, now lo and behold, 3 seasons later, no, that was the beginning
Yeah,
of C-137 Rick. That was true, all that, and so which led down to the path, and we get mind blown on a couple of
oh
things.
yeah, yeah.
One, that was true. Two, that his motivation, at least at the early part of his life, was to find the Rick that destroyed his life,
Mm-hmm.
essentially, and killing every Rick he could find who thought was part of it, or and even tied the sequence from earlier in the season with Birdman and their relationship
Mm-hmm.
together, which was part of his development, to the end where he created the Citadel and essentially he was the auspices of the Rick and Morty relationship throughout the multiverse.
Yeah.
Essentially, there was no Rick and Morty until he started that, right, and then that was kind of all tied together. We were like, oh cow. Never mind the whole revelation of evil Morty, which I would say he's not evil Morty. I think he's the Rick. He's the Mortiest Morty. To be
Right,
honest with you.
exactly. At least the most self-aware, anyway. And yeah,
Yeah.
and I love the fact that because like even he's the smartest guy in the galaxy universe or whatever, right? But it's the universe that he created, right? Of the multiverses that as a result of his doing. So outside of that, he may not even be the smartest guy. He's just the smartest guy because he's the one that created these universes, and he's the smartest guy within that framework. So it's interesting to see now how that's going to change, because he's going to run into people who may be smarter than him. The show can go so many different directions now. It really changes the course of how the show goes. Now Morty, no, not even Morty, but regular Morty knowing what's up, seeing behind the curtain. I mean, it's fascinating. And what they did in 20 minutes, the last 20 minutes to cram so much in there and make it work, it's amazing. I don't, no one can do that.
Well,
It's incredible.
no, if we go back to even episode 9, where we get the whole split up between Rick
Right,
and
with the
Morty,
Ravens
right,
and all.
where where
Or
he
crows,
is,
I'm sorry.
through 4 seasons, through 5 seasons, he's always made a point to belittle his relationship with Morty, to the point where, okay, you kind of see, he does that because he needs it. It's something he needs. It was something they created, and obviously in each subsequent universe where there's a Rick, once there was a connection with the Morty, it kind of grew from there until there was a need. So it was antagonistic in a sense, but it was necessary. And they you know, it wasn't just because of raising Morty, because there was a connection there that kind of, the peanut butter to
Right, of
jelly
course.
type of connection, right? For as much as he hated it, I think deep down he realized. But even in episode 9, where he makes a point of breaking up the relationship, and I love the wheel of what's
Oh
better
yeah,
than Morty. I mean, we had half apology of
yeah. That
Marty.
was funny.
I saw, I just died of
That was
laughter,
funny.
which is no offense to Paul Giamatti fans out there. We love him. But that was even a great episode. And then his realization that no, he really did need his Morty. And then tie that in with episode 10, where he basically, at the tail end of his life, after creating the Citadel, or even before. I'm trying to rewatch the episode, but basically he just found an Earth, basically a random
Mhm.
Earth, right? It might have been C-137, might be someone else, where the family was there, and obviously he knew that the Rick for most of these universes took off, right? And some, for the great majority, that seems to be a common theme where they leave their family and may or may not come back. But he found one where he was gone, and basically just adopted that, his daughter and family, to kind of integrate himself and kind of go from there. But that's not even the same family, because remember, back in season 2 and the Rick Potion number 9, where they destroyed that
Mhm.
Earth.
Yeah.
And then the Cronenberg Earth, and so they just found another one where they, Rick and Morty blew up, and then just assumed their positions in that family and keep forward this. So none of these is not even the original family, which is weird. But it's just the fact that he wanted to go back and be with his daughter, and have a connection with Morty, and all this is just spawned from that incident, right? From there, it's just crazy. It's absolutely
Yeah, it really
nuts.
is. It's just kudos to them, dude. It's like I, I don't know. It's amazing what they can do in those 23 minutes. It really is. Just the amount of information they give you, and the way they present it to you, it works. Where I don't think any show could. They can try it, they won't succeed. And this is how you do exposition, right? At the end of the day, concise, quick, and able to make sense and tie in. That this is the perfect way to do exposition without having to just bore you and inundate you with information, just for whatever period of time. But yeah, man, it was great, dude. I just with a good. I mean, the season was a little consistent, particularly in the middle of the season, right? I think we agreed a couple episodes were
Well, I
okay.
mean, I know,
We're
yeah,
okay.
the baby, the baby one was just, it was just a
Yeah,
little
it's
weird for
weird.
me.
I think the
It
one before
wasn't.
that was
But with
okay.
Plantain, I was rewatching, I enjoyed it. The first one was great. The
No,
Clone
yeah,
Wars,
it started off
or
like
the
gangbusters. Yeah, it started off
Decoys,
great.
was
Yeah,
awesome.
started off great.
The Turkey episode was just
Hmm.
funny, right? Some people have issues with Voltron. I love the Voltron, man,
I
because
like the
obviously,
Vulture one
I was a fan
personally.
of the show back
Yeah,
in the day. So it was pretty funny. We gave us a little bit Goodfellas, gave us obviously some Voltron, and making fun of Voltron and those type of anime from the 80s and early
hmm
90s. And so obviously these two last episodes were just kind of icing on the cake for me. It's kind of giving us finally the canonized continuation of the story from season 2, season 4, of these events that are now yet as a big picture. You see you see the connection and the thread being pulled through, and now it's like, okay, now where do we go? We got Rick and Morty surviving the explosion of the Citadel, to the Mortiest Morty, and basically now an alternate universe, I
right,
guess. I don't know what to
exactly. So
call
and now it's
it.
yeah,
Because we were only dealing with the multiverse with the Ricks, right, and everything that hit them. It was infinite possibilities. Now we broke that infinite, and now gone somewhere else where there is no Rick. Now
right,
what?
exactly. Yeah, that's what I'm. Is he now? He's still the smartest guy in the galaxy. Who knows, right?
Yeah.
And now he's not gonna be familiar with the way. He's not gonna know what's there. So good.
But I think this is for me. This is the true his true nemesis, right? The nemesis to the Rickiest Rick, and now the Mortiest Morty, because we obviously had Nimbus, and that was just fun,
Yeah,
right? That was
of
just
course, of course.
comical, right? Yeah. But this is what I mean. Even in a fight scene where they're trying to get each other, and they're one upping each other. Oh, you got the
Right.
shield. You can take care of his fighters. You didn't see this coming, or you didn't see this. I mean, basically they were trying to one up each other on everything, and they knew what they were going to do, so they had a contingency plan. So I mean, that's like about as head to head as you can go, right? Kind of like me and you today in fantasy, mano y mano. Who's going to come on
This guy.
top?
This
Yeah, right.
spoiler alert.
You're all
Yes. If
you're
you haven't
all
seen the ending, I went okay.
you're all thumbs,
We've
dude.
seen
You're
this
all
before. We've
thumbs.
seen this
Okay.
story before. Let's go back to Kato. Okay, the same trope. So maybe I'm down by the halftime that come back. I get it.
Okay, whatever, dude.
But
Whatever. CMC.
but
Let's
all
go.
that being said, so that's what we had this week. A huge yes from Rick and Morty. Obviously, only Murs in the buildings a must watch. And Impeachment's good. Everything else, Kate was no good. Blood Brothers was really good. And Malignant, yeah, I stay away from that, to be honest with you. But that being said, we have another light week next week. But, again, just hopefully it's some good quality. The one on FX Hulu we referenced earlier, Why the Last Man.
Yeah, that's going to drop 3 episodes on Monday, and then it becomes weekly.
Right. Which looks interesting.
Looks like it's 6 episodes, so it'll be 4 weeks. So get to watch that show. And a couple other ones. Next week, we got Sex Education that drops a week, basically this Friday. So that's must watch. We've loved to see. So this is season 3. And there might be a couple other small things
there's a couple movies
here and there, but
I think
those
Cry
are the big
Macho
ones.
comes out next week. A film.
Cry Macho.
On HBO Max. Clint Eastwood.
The pseudo-western. Yeah, that's right. So back to acting and directing again for him. Like a guy must love to work with.
I mean, 97. God bless him. Good for him. We should all be so lucky they're right to do what he's doing at that age. So wow, that's impressive. Even if the movie sucks, it's still impressive that he's actually doing it. So whatever. What can we say? But obviously, let's see if the quality's there. But that being said, this is where you are this week again. Appreciate it, guys. Comment, share, subscribe, etc. We'll see you guys next Sunday, and I'll detail you how bad I actually beat Chewy in fantasy football this week. Chewy, I'm sorry. Go ahead real quick. On that note, all right, everybody. See you guys next week. Bye.